I didn't choose the simple explanation because it was convincing. I chose it because it let me stop thinking. The lob lights were too bright for that hour. The whiteboard still held traces of a model we abandoned halfway through. Equations erased just enough to look intentional. Accuracy was available, complex, demanding. Simplicity arrived differently, as a shape that fit, as a sentence that closed the loop. The mind doesn't prefer simplicity because it's lazy. It prefers it because complexity keeps systems open, and open systems cost energy. That was the night I learned the brain doesn't seek truth first. It seeks closure. Number 10. The microscene opens with a researcher staring at overlapping graphs on a monitor, cursors circling one clean line while the others fade into peripheral blur, his shoulders easing as focus narrows. The psychology label is cognitive simplification bias. The mechanism begins when mental load rises, causing attention to collapse toward patterns that require fewer variables, reducing perceived effort at the cost of precision. The pattern breaks when the single line feels sufficient. The human trigger is overload, mirrored by the line. What costs less thinking gets chosen first. Number 9. The microscene shifts to a classroom. A student underlining a summary sentence while skipping the footnotes, pen pressure lightening as the page looks complete. The psychology label is gist extraction. The mechanism compresses information into a manageable core, discarding nuance to maintain momentum. The pattern breaks when the summary replaces the source. The human trigger is time pressure, mirrored by the line, "Simplicity feels like progress." Number 8. The microscene shows a man explaining a complicated situation to a friend, pausing, then choosing a cleaner version, relief visible as the listener nods. The psychology label is explanatory relief. The mechanism trades accuracy for emotional ease, rewarding explanations that reduce social friction. The pattern breaks when understanding appears mutual. The human trigger is interpersonal comfort, mirrored by the line, "Clarity is mistaken for correctness." Number 7. The microscene follows a woman reading a headline, skipping the article, closing the app with a calm breath as certainty settles. The psychology label is surface coherence bias. The mechanism accepts simplified narratives that resolve ambiguity quickly, minimizing emotional tension. The pattern breaks when the headline feels complete. The human trigger is ambiguity avoidance, mirrored by the line, "The mind rests when questions stop." Number 6. The microscene presents a team meeting where a complex failure is reframed as a single mistake, nods spreading as responsibility becomes clear and limited. The psychology label is moral simplification. The mechanism reduces ethical complexity into digestible causes, preserving moral order at the expense of accuracy. The pattern breaks when blame feels fair. The human trigger is moral clarity, mirrored by the line, "Simple stories protect conscience." Number 5. The microscene captures a leader summarizing a nuanced decision as a principle-driven choice, voice steady, room relaxing as uncertainty dissolves. The psychology label is value compression. The mechanism aligns complex realities with core values, filtering out contradictions that threaten moral confidence. The pattern breaks when the principle feels decisive. The human trigger is moral certainty, mirrored by the line, "Values flatten complexity." Number 4. The microscene freezes on a chalkboard erased down to a single formula, handprint marks visible where complexity once stood. The psychology label is explanatory hardening. The mechanism locks simplified models into place, preventing re-expansion into uncertainty. The pattern breaks when revisiting complexity feels pointless. The human trigger is cognitive finality, mirrored by the line, Once simplicity hardens, accuracy is locked out. The board stays clean. The erased space does not return. The formula stands alone. Number 3. The microscene shows a debate paused mid-sentence, one person repeating a simple explanation with confidence, others quieting. The psychology label is identity anchoring. The mechanism ties self-image to clarity, defending simple explanations as markers of intelligence. The pattern breaks when complexity feels like weakness. The human trigger is competence signaling, mirrored by the line, simplicity becomes identity. The voice remains steady. The room stays quiet. The explanation holds. Number 2. The microscene depicts a feed scrolling past detailed analysis, attention stopping on a clean graphic, thumb topping like without hesitation. The psychology label is identity-consistent selection. The mechanism reinforces explanations that align with self-concept, filtering out complexity that threatens perceived understanding. The pattern breaks when preference feels obvious. The human trigger is self-assurance, mirrored by the line, "The mind defends what makes it feel smart." The graphic remains. The analysis passes. The choice is sealed. Number 1. The microscene ends in silence. A familiar explanation replayed internally, smooth and compact, no loose ends demanding attention. The psychology label is narrative closure bias. The mechanism integrates the simplified explanation as truth, removing cognitive strain from future recall. The pattern breaks when the explanation feels complete. The human trigger is mental rest, mirrored by the line, "The mind bends toward what lets it stop." The silence holds. The explanation stays simple. The complexity fades. Simple explanations leave residue, not as ignorance, as confidence. You don't feel misled. You feel settled. Accuracy demands openness. Simplicity offers closure. If something here felt familiar, that sensation is not understanding. It is relief recognizing itself. This channel exists to reopen what simplicity quietly closed. Stay, because what feels easiest to believe is rarely what took the most care to be true.